But we begin with that new terror threat. This time, the warning comes from Saudi Arabia, and it's being taken very seriously. CBS News Homeland security correspondent Bob Orr has the details. Bob, good morning. What can you tell us about this latest threat?
Well, good morning, Maggie. We're told this threat is very serious. It was announced by the French authorities, who heard from Saudi intelligence officials that the group in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, was targeting Europe and specifically targeting France. We're told the threat is credible in that much of the information has already been corroborated. But the problem, again, like it's been with the other wider threat, is the threat is non-specific. That is, officials do not have time, date, place, or a target list. So this is, again, another general heads up to the people in Europe and to France that another terror group is planning some kind of an attack, Maggie.
The group that you mentioned, Al-Qaeda, in the Arabian Peninsula, is this an offshoot of the main Al-Qaeda group? And if so, do they have the same kind of money and capability to carry out a major attack?
It is one of the Al-Qaeda franchises. It's relatively new. This group has been reconstituted about 2 years ago. It's in Yemen. It's called Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, or a.q.a.p. And it is lethal in that they've already been able to reach out with attacks. This is a group that's not quite as large or organized or well known as the bin Laden Al-Qaeda, but this is the same group that brought us the underwear bomber, the alleged underwear bomber in Detroit last Christmas. So it's a group that first was regionally centered, but with attacks like by Abdul Muttalib, who you see there, they're showing an ability to try to strike the West, the U.S.
Right.
and also U.S. And Western allies. So it is a serious group.
So clearly they have a beef against the U.S. So why is Europe being warned and not the U.S.?
Well, in some ways it's an easier target. There is an indigenous population in Great Britain, for example, of Pakistani Britons who have traveled freely back and forth to tribal areas. In France, there are a number of elements there that have terror ties, specifically Algerians who are connected to a group in North Africa, which is called Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. So Europe is a more near-term and closer target and perhaps easier to hit. But let's be clear about something. These groups would all like to hit the United States. It is still the gold standard for them, Maggie.
Not what we want to hear. Bob Orr. Bob, thank you very much.